Atlanta, Georgia's highest court on Wednesday overturned the murder and child cruelty convictions against a man whose toddler son died after he left him in a hot car for hours, saying the jury saw evidence that was extremely and unfairly prejudicial. Justin Ross Harris, 41, was convicted in November. A judge sentenced him to life without parole as well as 32 more years in prison for other crimes. All of the Georgia Supreme Court justices agreed that there was sufficient evidence to support Harris' convictions, but the 134-page majority opinion written by Chief Justice David Namias says that much of the evidence having to do with Harris' sexual activities shouldn't have been admitted and may ha. The ruling means that Harris is entitled to a new trial on the murder and child cruelty charges against him. "We are very appreciative and grateful that we'll have a new trial," said Harris' attorney, Ms. Durham. The High Court upheld Harris' convictions on 3 sex crimes committed against a 16-year-old girl that Harris had not appealed. He received a total of 12 years in prison for those crimes. The Cobb County District Attorney's Office plans to file a motion for reconsideration in the case, according to an emailed statement. Prosecutors argued that Harris was unhappy in his marriage and intentionally killed his son to free himself. To support this theory, they presented extensive evidence of extramarital sexual activities that he engaged in, including exchanging sexually explicit messages and graphic photos with women and girls and meeting some of them for sex. Defense attorneys described him as a doting father and said the boy's death was a tragic accident. The 6-3 majority opinion says that the jury heard and saw an extensive amount of improperly admitted evidence. It says that as prosecutors painted Harris as a man who intentionally and maliciously abandoned his child to die in the summer heat, they also presented a substantial amount of evidence. Cooper died after sitting for about 7 hours in the back seat of the Hyundai Tucson SUV outside his father's office in suburban Atlanta, where temperatures that day reached at least into the high 80s. No one disputes that Harris left his son in the SUV rather than dropping him off at daycare and that the heat in the vehicle caused the boy's death. The only disputed issue is whether Harris intentionally and maliciously left his child to suffer that painful death, Namias wrote.